If you are a B2B marketer like me, chances are that you have to do a lot of events throughout the year, especially if in the field marketing department. But if you do, let's say, 20 events per year, how are you going to keep track of all those events? And most importantly, how are you going to improve the return on investment of those events? Because events, let's be honest, they can be crazy expensive. You know, I've paid as little as 5,000 for an event which I've sponsored, but I've also paid up to 250,000 euros for a single event that we sponsored. You know, and you get standard stuff like a booth, some keynote presentations, etc. Especially with events of that size, there's a lot of eyes on you. And you have to make sure that you get the most value out of an event. As a B2B marketer, that is your responsibility. Oftentimes I see B2B marketers go from event to event and never look back. That's not something you need to do. As an event owner, you are responsible for an event. I've seen many times that marketers think that, okay, I've done an event, so now it's up to sales to follow up. Of course, sales has to follow up, but you have to make sure they're actually doing it. You need to chase them, you need to make sure that the opportunities move across the sales cycle, which is super important. But before we get started and dive into the details how you can create the perfect B2B event dashboard, I want to tell you that this is a new channel. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos about B2B marketing, including topics such as event marketing, lead generation, demand generation in general, social media tactics for B2B marketers. So I would appreciate if you subscribe to this channel if you want to stay updated on those type of topics. So this is what we're going to cover today. First, I'm going to show you some examples of B2B dashboards that I've created, and I'm going to show you exactly why they work so well. I'm going to cover internal dashboards and external dashboards, so you have an overview and an example of both the different types of events. And then I'm going to guide you through the steps that you need to follow to create a perfect event dashboard every single time. So first, let's look at an example of a dashboard for external events. So this is an event that you sponsor. The key metrics often include pipeline generated, of course business generated at the end of the day, but also marketing qualified leads generated. So let's dive into the details. This is a dashboard from which I've received great feedback from the sales organization, from management, and here's why. It shows you everything that you need to know at the top of the dashboard. So the opportunities created from the event, the pipeline generated from the event, but also where the pipeline currently is in the sales cycle. This is an event that was done a couple of months ago, and the average B2B sales cycle at my company is like 9 months right now. So once we pull in some deals or win some deals, we're going to see the return on investment increase as well. But also it contains a report where the opportunities are coming from, so from which sales territory. This is super important for us because our sales territories are divided and every sales territory has a target. So it's key that I report on those different territories as well. It also shows you basic stuff like the total leads generated, the cost per lead, the total MQLs generated, and the cost per MQL. This is super important because you can compare these numbers to your other marketing campaigns. And of course, it also shows you some of the demographics such as job role, leads by region, and leads by industry. This is super important for if you have to make a decision for next year to sponsor the event again, because right now you can see which leads you have generated from the event and if they fit into your target audience. Now, let's have a look at events that you host internally, so events that you create and to which you invite people, right? So let's dive into some of the details. A dashboard like this often needs the registrations versus targets, right? You always have to include targets in a dashboard, but also the registration over time, named account registrations by industry and job role. So this is also an event dashboard that I've created from which I've received a lot of positive feedback from all teams in the organization, from marketing, sales, management, customer success, and so on. Here's why. It shows you all the registrations that we currently have. It shows you where we are compared to the target, but also the registrations over time. We currently work on a named account strategy. So it also shows you how many registrations we have from named accounts and from which regions are coming. Also, it shows you exactly which registrations we have by account owner. So every sales can see exactly which people have registered from his accounts, which is super important. But also the different account types that have registered. So customers, prospective customers, partners, etc. Again, of course, it also shows you the registrations by region, by company size, whether it's business or technical roles, and registrations by persona. So this is another dashboard that I've designed. So now I've showed you two examples of, well, both an internal dashboard and an external dashboards. And if you want to take a closer look at these dashboards, you can find them on my website. I'll leave a link down in the description. The fact of the matter is that there's no dashboard that fits all. It's always custom work. You have to tweak some reports here, you have to add something there. It's always a work in progress, and this is something that you need to understand. So if you follow this dashboard example completely, chances are that maybe it's not right for your company. But don't worry, I'm going to guide you through the steps that you need to take to create the perfect B2B event dashboard anytime for any organization. Step 1. You need to find the right reporting platform. As a marketer, you have access to a lot of different tools, but you need to find a platform which all of your stakeholders have access to, because you want to show this dashboard to people, so they also need to be able to see the dashboard and work with the data. So oftentimes this is your CRM. So the dashboards that I've showed you today, they're created on Salesforce, but maybe you have another CRM that works well as well. But you need to select a platform in which all of your stakeholders can access the data and they can work with the data. Just looking at a dashboard is not super relevant. You need to understand the data behind it, and you need to be able to work with the data. Step 2. You need to understand what metrics are important to your business. You need to ask yourself, what is the ultimate goal for this event? What do I want to achieve? So in an external event, most of the time what you want to generate is business. So opportunities are important, the return of investment of the event, but also the current pipeline that's open. If you don't know what's the ultimate goal of an event, you have to talk to your manager. You need to understand what's important for the business and why you're doing that event. If you understand that, it can help you to get an understanding of what metrics you need to report on in your dashboard. Step 3. You also need to understand what metrics are important to your viewers. So not just to the business, but also the people who are actually viewing your dashboard. So for example, let's say you work a lot with sales and this dashboard is created with them in mind. You need to create reports that they can use. Like I said, the data needs to be actionable. So maybe you want to show a report that shows all the registrations or leads generated by account owner. This is super valuable for them, and they will thank you for it. Step 4. You need to make it super easy to see the source data behind the reports. Like I said, a dashboard is great for a visual representation of the current state, but you need to be able to work with the data. And let's say you're sales and you need to know what people have registered from your accounts. You want to be able to see that data. You want to be able to click through, see their profile on your CRM. So this is super important. So make the data actionable. Step 5. So talking about source reports, it's super important that you design the source reports with your viewers in mind. So what's important for them? What do they want to see? So oftentimes, if you're creating a report for sales, it's good to start with a column that says the account owner, then if it's a target account or not, the company name, first name, last name, job role, industry, country, etc. So really keep your viewers in mind and design your source reports with them in mind, because they will thank you for it. Step 6. Always include the actuals versus the target. It doesn't matter if it's an internal dashboard or an external event dashboard, you always want to include this. Imagine that you're management and you're looking at a dashboard. The first question that you will ask is, all right, where are we compared to the target? So always include this. Step 7. This is a mistake that I've made many times in my career. I'm not doing it again, but it's a mistake that I made a lot. Always get your dashboard controlled and reviewed by others, so by other stakeholders, before sending it to the extended team. Why? It looks very bad on you if you send a dashboard to a wide group of people and then you get a lot of feedback. Oh, why is this like this? Why doesn't it include this reporting, or why is this not on there? So always get a group of stakeholders and then show your dashboard to them, collect the feedback, and then once you have all the feedback and you have processed that feedback, only then send it to the extended team. Trust me. Step 8. So once you have followed these steps, you get an idea what is important for your business. You get an idea what your business wants you to report on and what's important to the viewers. So once you have identified that, please create a template, because you're going to have to create a lot of different dashboards and you don't want to be doing the same work over and over again. So also when you develop a dashboard, make sure it's scalable. So scalability is always something that you have to keep in mind. Do yourself a favor, do your company a favor, and create a template. So that's it. If you follow these steps, you'll be able to create the perfect B2B event dashboard every single time, and it doesn't matter what company you work for. Follow these steps and you'll be able to prove the return of investments of all of your events. But most importantly, it doesn't matter if you're doing 10 events or 20 events. If you have a good B2B event dashboard, you'll be able to keep track of all of your events. So thank you for watching, and I'm very curious, what is one metric that you include on every single B2B event dashboard? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm super interested. All right, thank you for your time and have a great day.